TMZ Live. There is some interesting information, not just about Nancy Guthrie, but about Savannah Guthrie. So there's been a lot of talk about how does she come back to the Today Show as long as things are unresolved. And the reality is, and our law enforcement sources are saying this, that this case could be unresolved for months, even years, before they find Nancy Guthrie. That is just a stark reality right now. The FBI does not have any solid leads, nor does the Pima County Sheriff's Office. They don't. And they are at a point now where this is becoming a cold case. So Savannah Guthrie acknowledged this in her last video, that it would take a miracle for her mom to be alive at this point. And there are realities to all of this. This is a very religious family. Nancy Guthrie was very religious. And, the closure of finding Nancy, whether she's alive or not, is something this family clearly needs. I mean, you see this written all over Savannah's face, as she's spoken over the last month. And she's not getting that closure. And so the question, what does she do? Does she come back to the Today Show and just, as they say, put on a happy face and, push this to the side for 2 hours a day, or not? And if she decides to come back, when does she do that? And does she address it if she comes back? She's going to have to say something. But it is a shadow, a cloud that will be cast over her. You can just feel it as you watch her, until there's some closure with her mom. So here's what we're told. We're told no decision has been made yet. And that Savannah, we are told, has not communicated anything to NBC in terms of a return date or lack thereof. And the important thing we're told is NBC has absolutely not exerted any pressure on her for any return date, that they are giving her the space she needs right now, but NBC is sitting back and waiting. So I think that, at this point, what you could say is it's up in the air, that, Savannah may come back. She may come back in 2 weeks. She may not come back. We don't know. She hasn't said, but NBC is not putting pressure on her. As for Nancy Guthrie, a video surfaced the other day of a dozen cars that were driving a couple of miles from the residence of Nancy Guthrie in the hours after the kidnapping. Because we know that's when the Google video from the Nest camera captured this person at Nancy's front door. So that is at 2:12 when the Google search of the Nest camera revealed this man at Nancy's door. So he's there. Now, 2.5 miles away, there's a road, and there are cars going back and forth. One of them, the first one, you see pass 19 minutes after that video was taken. So theoretically, 19 minutes would be long enough for somebody perhaps to go inside, take Nancy, put her in a car, and drive those 2.5 miles. So it is possible, in terms of time, that one of those cars could be the kidnapper's car. And there were a dozen of these cars, in that period of time, but the first of which 19 minutes after the person was on that doorstep. Our FBI sources say that this is a dead end, that the placement of the road against Nancy's house makes no sense. that it's the opposite direction from anything, and they have looked also at the ingress and egress around that road, and they have already looked at this and said, there is nothing here. So even though it seems enticing to see that car go by, the FBI, we're told, has already made a decision that there is no real lead produced by the video. So right now, they don't have a suspect. They don't have a person of interest. They do not have a vehicle. They clearly think there is something to that first ransom note that we and 2 local television stations in Tucson received. But as far as we know, they have not been able to track down who wrote that note, nor are they able to track down the person who has been sending us demand letters saying for a certain amount of money, they will give them information leading to Nancy and the kidnapper. So this is becoming a cold case, and it must be an absolute nightmare for the Guthrie family.
Hello, my name is Liza. I'm from Louisiana. Me personally, I think she should give it a little more time. Roughly, her mom's been missing for 26 days. I don't think they've dotted all their I's nor crossed all their T's in that short time frame. I wouldn't return to today's show until my mom returned home.
But what happens? But I got to ask you, because think about this. What if they just don't find Nancy? Do you put your life in suspended animation?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
For how long? For 10 years?
If that's how long it takes for my mom to come back, absolutely.
But would your mom, I mean, look, God forbid, but would your mom want you to put your life on hold and basically mourn for 10 years and not be productive and not in any way try to become satisfied?
No, you have to look at it from a different point. I would say no, she wouldn't want me to mourn for 10 years, but I would. Being the daughter, I would mourn for 10 years until my mom returns.
Fair enough.